Hey guys, it's Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Today we're going to learn how to play Born to Be Wild by Steppenwolf. So let's take a look here. We're going to have a few different riffs here. They're all classic riffs. You got to know them all. But when we're doing the verse, there's fills that go along with it, and each three verses has a different set of fills. And sometimes he'll use the same, little tiny lick within the verse. But each verse by itself is kind of unique. So we have to look at all that too if you want to be complete, and of course we do. So let's start here with this main riff here first. We're going to start here with this just... Now that requires kind of a long stretch here. But I'm playing an E major chord here, so I'm borrowing my third finger across the 9th fret on the B, G, and D strings. And I'm playing the 7th fret on the A. Open low E string. Now, the rhythm there, I'm going to slow that down because it's better just to kind of feel it slow. Remember, just keep a constant down-up motion. So you see how I'm muting this with the left hand though. I'm separating the chords, creating the rhythm by releasing the pressure on the strings and then picking them again. So then from there we hit the low E open, and you're going to play still keep the 7th fret there on the A, but you're going to play the 11th fret on the D, back to the low E open, and then raise that little finger up all the way to the 12th. All right, so when the vocals come in, it's kind of a simplified version of that riff. We just stay here on the low E, just chugging some downstrokes there. Then back into the chord. And basically the very end of that main riff. So it is. All right, so now pretty much the second half of the verse here is this section with all the fills here. So that's the part that sounds like this. So that was the first verse, well, the first time of playing that riff. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you that now, and I'm going to show you all the three parts individually, and then we'll move on to the rest of the song. Okay, so let's start here. Now it's just a simple bar chord that we're going to be leading into those fills with. Just a simple major bar chord at the 3rd fret, G major, hit the low strings, and then the full chord, and then do the same thing 2 frets higher. So from there, you can hit the low E open if you want, and then we're going to go into our first fill. That's a hammer 7 to 9 on the D string, over to 7 on the G. The bend there at the 9th fret on the G. Release 7 over to 9 on the D. Do the same 2 chords to lead up to it again. And we basically do the same lick, but starting here at the 5th fret on the A string. So that's that, and just you don't have to play that the last note we did here. You don't have to play the very last note there. Then back to those 2 chords. Mix it up a little bit here. That's back to the 7th fret here on the G, to 9 on the D, and you're going to end it with a hammer 7 to 9 to 7 on the G. So that's basically 3 licks that they throw in between those 2 chords. So this. And then back to the chorus. And then just resolve it down to an E major chord. So this is the first verse. It now repeats and goes back around to the second verse here without going to a pre-chorus or chorus. So we just kind of chill out on that E major chord and then back to the riff again. And then we make it back to the part of the verse here where we have the fills, and we have a different set of fills here, and they sound like this. All right, and that actually leads us into the first pre-chorus here. So let me take a look at these fills now. Once again, we're going to start with the same fill we started in the first verse. So it's identical as the first verse. Then those two chords again. Next lick. All right, so that's hammering there at the 12th fret on the D string to the 14th fret. Over to 12 on the G. Bend. The 14, back to the 12. Back to these chords. Then we're at the hammer on 5 to 7 on the A, to 5 on the D, then do a long bend there, the 7th fret on the D. So all together for that second verse and its fills. Now that leads us into the pre-chorus here, but I'm going to skip that for a second and then take a look at the third verse that happens later in the song. Same build up, and then into the same two chords. Now let's take a look at those three sets of fills, and it sounds like this. All right, so now this is very similar to the first verse. First two fills are the exact same. And this third one, we're gonna come up there. Now, what's going on there? We're gonna play hammer 12 to 14 on the D, then play 12, 14 on the G. Then bar your finger here, just lay your third finger down across the B and the G string, pick those two strings, bend it down to bend it down towards the floor, then release it, and then the 12 on the B and the G together. And that takes us to the actual pre-chorus. So the pre-chorus coming out of the second and third verse sounds like this. All right, so that's just that E major chord. Kind of an eighth note strum, down, up, down, up, down, up. E major. Then the E major we were playing earlier, just full strum. Then to the A major chord. You can play it like A major or just bar across the second fret on the B, G, and the D. With the open A, and then back down to that G. Then it's the E power chord instead of going down to that. E power chord, which is just basically all the strings open except the A string is 7th fret, 9th on the D, 9th on the G. Now that's the main chord for we're going to start the chorus with. Chorus is just really simple. It's mostly the organ that's doing all the most of the work here in the chorus. But it's just going to start with a so it's just 7, then 5, then back to 7. And then we repeat that. All right, so the only part we have to take a look at now, it happens a couple times in the song. There's just, when the organ, they're kind of doing the jam part there. And we have some cool rhythms there, some cool chords here going on the guitar, and it sounds like this. get the idea there. So we're basically going to be starting here with this E major chord that we started the main riff. So just on that chord, now what we're doing here, the rhythm is kind of on the upbeats. So you start it, and then you're going to hit the up, and you're going to then mute the fingers down here. So I'm always hitting it on just, I'm doing the downstrokes, but I'm missing the string. The first down, and then all up. Then it goes to what is affectionately known as the Hendrix chord here. We're going to be playing the 7th fret on the A string, 6th fret on the D, 7th on the G, and then 8th on the B. Then we have this rhythm. Now once again, I'm doing straight down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And I'm obviously muting the strings a lot on a lot of those hits, but so I'll slow this down because this rhythm is easier to learn to just kind of seeing it and hearing it slow and just starting to follow along. So I'll do this for a little bit. I'm constantly going down and up. So the last twos were just upstrokes, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And you just want to mute the strings in between it. You're hitting the strings every time, but sometimes they're just being muted by the left hand. Down, up, up. So that should feel natural after a while. Just, you're doing a downstroke or upstroke depending on where your arm is and that momentum. That momentum just keeps going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. All right, now coming out of that, you just go straight to back to that E major chord and let that build. Now there's a little guitar slide thing going there. Or whatever that melody is, but it's pretty much just kind of layering. There's not a lot going on there. The rhythm is much more important there. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.